What's up everybody in YouTube land? This is Miketendo here. Wanted to give a little shout out to a couple games that I thought needed to go mention that we all really kind of forgot about. And it's important that we talk about some games that even though they haven't been released or aren't going to be released in any fashion or aren't even going to be finished, it's still important that we take a look at some of these games, take a look back and say, well, let's take a look and see what could have been or what should have been, but didn't. So here's my top 5 games that have never been released, have never been finished, or are just completely unreleased. Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry is a game that may have played on Nintendo. It came out originally on the regular Nintendo Entertainment System. It is a not so great game. Well, when Warner Brothers actually got an ability to start up something new, they started putting a lot of effort into getting Clint Eastwood on board with making a new video game with Dirty Harry. And it would basically be a retelling of the first movie. And Clint Eastwood was even attached to do audio work on the project. There was a trailer that was released, and the trailer was awesome. I mean, some of the cinematography that they used was right in line with the movie, and it really fit so much with the universe. It was an unfortunate case where the final product was not ever released beyond anything beyond a trailer, so it was quite unfortunate that it never came out. But there you have it. Number 4 is a game called Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and this game was created or developed by 3DO. Now in its early stages, we didn't really get to see too much. We've seen a trailer, and that's pretty much all we got to see. What's interesting is there were a couple of actors that were actually brought on board to do voice acting for the game. There was Lance Henriksen, Tim Curry, and Tracy Lords. There's no word as to whether or not the scripts were finalized or if the voice work was actually done. I'd love to be able to hear some of the audio that came out in those sessions. I mean, just Lance Henriksen and Tim Curry alone, like, mind blown. And Tracy Lords would have brought her sexy, sultry attitude, which you may have seen her in various different movies. Overall, this game was something that we really needed to see more of to judge exactly what it could be. So maybe in the future we'll see something, some sort of project that will come out of the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Apparently there's a couple comic books that are coming out in the near future or are currently out. Number 3 on my list is Castlevania Resurrection. This was a title that had just been announced, and when it was, I had to get my hands on a Dreamcast. I ended up picking up a Dreamcast right around just after launch, a couple months after. And when this project was announced, that's what really sold me on the fact that I had to own the Sega Dreamcast. Sega Dreamcast was actually my first Sega system, so it was actually really sad that they couldn't deliver on the promise of a Castlevania game. I'm a huge Castlevania fan, so I have to have every version. It was really pretty upsetting when they ended up canceling the game. We did get a lot of really cool information about the game. It was supposed to star Sonia Belmont, who was later retconned, unfortunately. But what we did see is, we did see Dracula, we did hear a bunch of the music that was being designed, and there's been interviews and footage of the gameplay that's been pretty much online at your disposal. And it's a real shame that Castlevania Resurrection wasn't able to come out, but you know, what a horrible night to have a curse, I suppose. Number 2 on my list is Mega Man Legends 3. Now this is so sad. I mean, this game was announced, a development room was set up so that people would be able to join and put in interaction. They'd be able to sign up for the prototype and put their feedback into the game to make this game. Fans were clamoring this for 10 years at least, and for them to just dump the project, it's so sad. There's currently an effort to get more attention to the project and bring it back, but after Inafune left, there was no way that they were going to be able to deliver this project, or at least deliver it with fan approval. Inafune did say that he would come back and try to finish the project if he could, if Capcom would allow it. But here it is, at least a year later, and we still haven't seen much as far as the Mega Man Legends 3. Only time will tell if Capcom decides to bring it back or not. Mega Man Legends 3 was supposed to be designed as a prototype that fans would be able to input information into in order to help build the game that they wanted. And the number one game that has never been fully released was canceled during development, even though it was almost ready to go. Number one's gotta be Star Fox 2. The fact that the game was even at the level that it was at before it got axed is just so sad and so disheartening. They really should have at least released some of the information for the game. I mean, this game was going so far as to be released in unreleased beta forms over the internet and fans finishing the work. That's dedication. Star Fox 2 saw a huge cast of characters, much greater than what the original game had. In fact, what's really interesting is that some of the elements from Star Fox 2 were actually fit into the Star Fox DS game. And that's really great that they were able to take some of the ideals that were in this game and bring them into a newer game. It really shows that this is what the game was supposed to be like. And even though the story and the characters are different, it's still sort of nice for Nintendo to tip their hat and say, hey, remember this game? Yeah, we know you remember it. Well, here it is. Well, sort of. Well, there's my top 5 list. Hope you enjoyed it. Wanted to try to give everybody a feel for what I think 5 games that should have been released and never were. Now, if I could go back in time, I would release those games. But sadly, I can't, nor do I have the power to do so. But it's always funny to just sit down and think about the past and think, what if? What if?